Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and as always told, out of Voice Radio. So today, we're going to be looking at Professor Elm's lecture. Now, in a way, our translation here comes from the lovely David Hochmann. But in another way, our translation here comes from my mystery Japanese source. That's right. My anonymous Japanese source came through again. First, they told us about Scepter, and that was correct. Then they told us about Rayquaza GX, and that was correct. Now they have told us about Professor Elm's lecture, and it was 100% correct, which basically means, in future, if I'm ever telling you about my anonymous Japanese source, and I will let you know if it's the same one or a new one, just assume it's correct. From now on, when my anonymous Japanese source tells us something, can we all just agree that it's definitely real? Because it's definitely real. Now, I know I did do a video about this when it was revealed before, but it wasn't 100% official at that point. It wasn't official at all. Plus, when people are searching around, I want them to find my video about Professor Elm's lecture, and I don't want them to find a rumor video, I want them to find a real video. Plus, I've had a few weeks to think about it, so this is not going to be the same video we looked at before. But anyway, what does it do? Well, what it does is, it is a supporter card that allows you to search your deck for free Pokemon with 60 HP or less and put them into your hand. And as far as I'm concerned, this is absolutely over-the-top phenomenal. I think it's absolutely brilliant, to be perfectly honest with you. It's kind of like Bridget, but it's not Bridget. Some people are saying, we don't need any more Bridget-type cards. And other people are saying, it's quite a balanced Bridget. What I will tell you is this. It's not Bridget. But in some decks, it might as well be. And now, we are actually going to be in a format where 60 or 70 HP has never had more relevance. So if we take, let's go Litten, because clearly I'm going to be a dude that's going to be playing an awful amount of Incineroar next format, because that new Incineroar looks busted. Link in the description. And when it comes to Litten, now generally speaking, we've always said go 70 HP. Because if you take something like a Latios, 2 times 30 is 60, you get KO'd. Or if we take something like Tapu Koko, 3 times 20 is 60 and you get KO'd. So having 70 HP in that respect is much better. Then of course we can remember that stuff like Buzzwole hits 60 from 2 jet punches, 30 for each when you're sitting on the bench. And all of a sudden there's a big difference between having 60 and having 70. So generally speaking, we've all been of the opinion that just play the higher HP. That's not the case anymore, because now if you've got a 60 HP basic, it can be searched out using Professor Elm's lecture. So if we take the Litten from Shining Legends, it's got an attack for 1 fire energy that does 20 damage. As far as it goes, right, that's not too bad if you're playing fire energy, which you might not if you're playing the Darkness Incineroar. But I don't know, maybe you play the Litten that just for 1 colorless energy lets you draw a card. Let's face it, right, you don't want to be using these attacks, but I'm talking about in an emergency. And the thing is, these we'll just play the 70 HP one. But now you can get 3 of these with Professor Elm's lecture. That makes a big difference. If we look at something like Zoroark Gardevoir, well, Zoroark's great, and the Zoroark everyone's playing is a 60 HP one from Shining Legends. That's pretty good. And then Gardevoir has Routes, which has 60 HP. And then, of course, as soon as you get Zoroark out, you can just keep rolling here. You can just keep using trade, discard 1 card from your hand, draw 2, and go. You just need to get set up. We've been seeing this in Zoroark decks since Zoroark came out. It's all about getting your basics. Zoroark decks used to play all Bridget. They just go 4 Bridget and sometimes 4 Tapu Lele. If we look at the deck with which Robin Schultz won the World Championships, he literally didn't play any Ultra Ball. Because his theory was, I'm going to get my basics with Bridget, and then I'm going to get my evolutions with Evo Soda, and then I can play Mysterious Treasure as well, which will only get me some of my Pokemon, not all of them. Because as soon as you get your basics, and then draw 1 Zoroark in a Zoroark deck, you're fine. And this is the kind of power that Professor Round's lecture gives you. It cannot be overstated how great this is in some decks. And sure, if you're playing Buzzwole, and your basics are like Buzzwole and Diancie Prism Star, then, you know what? You're not going to get much out of this. It's not going to be good. But in some decks, it's going to be phenomenal. And Zoroark Gardevoir comes to mind. And it's literally going to change the way we play the game. I've made no secret of the fact I will be playing Incineroar when it comes out in February. I'm probably, and I need to do a bit more testing, obviously, but I'm probably going to go 60 HP Litten and Professor Round's lecture. Because as soon as you've got Incineroar going, the ability says that you can put 3 damage counters on it and then search your deck for 3 Darkness Energy and attach it. That's great, like over the top great. But you've got to get your Incineroar. And we all know that if you just put 1 Litten on the bench, your opponent's going to play a Guzma, KO it, and laugh in your face. They might be laughing on the inside. They might be a nice person. But they're going to go after the 1 Litten. Because if you never get an Incineroar on the field, you probably ain't going to win. And that's what something like Professor Round's lecture does. When the rotation was announced, one of the big questions was, what are we going to do about Bridget? Like, what's our turn 1 play now? Do you play Steven's Resolve? I mean, it's great if you're going first, because you've got to end your turn without attacking anyway. But it's not really great after that. Are you just going to play Pokemon Fan Club? Because I assure you, 3 Pokemon is a heck of a lot better than 2. Are we just going to play more stuff like Nest Ball? The reality is, it's much harder to draw into your basics early game without Bridget. And with Professor Round's lecture, you're fine. Decks like Zoroark Gardevoir will literally not miss a beat. And fine, yes, you're not going to be able to get stuff like your Oranguru. And that's sad. But there's going to be so many Pokemon you do get that it's worth it. And I do need to mention a couple other little things which make this better than Bridget. First of all, it's not just basics. So on my previous Professor Round's lecture video, the top comment coming from the lovely Alex Eades, who is a lovely man, I've conversed with him many times over email and such, can confirm lovely man, was about the fact that we finally got an unbroken Bridget, well I mentioned earlier. But the second most popular comment was from Bernie Swim, which says 60 HP Alolan Dog Trio looking like a superstar now. Because you see, this isn't just for basic Pokemon. And if we look at the Alolan Dog Trio from Ultra Prism, initially we look at it and go, ooh, that's a little bit low. We don't like this very much. But now, Bridget is nuts with this. Now you'll need to play some kind of draw engine, but we're going to have Zeb Striker after rotation, so just use that. And then, all of a sudden, you can get your basics and your stage 1s with this, which is kind of crazy over the top good. The other thing to mention here is that they go into your hand, not onto the bench, which means if you're playing a Zoroark deck, you can search for basics and then trade them away. We all know that Zoroark decks used to just trade away Bridget after you'd played one. Now you can search for basics you don't want anymore and trade them away. So you may end up getting 2 trade targets off of a Professor Round's lecture, rather than the 1 trade target which Bridget would itself have been. So it's quite nice you can actually search your deck for the cards and then use them, not necessarily as basic Pokemon. I mean, you might have, say, this and an Ultra Ball in hand, and you just desperately need a Zoroark. Well, now what you do is you use this to grab 2 basic Pokemon, then you use the Ultra Ball, then you're off and rolling. And that's what's so fun about it. And I should also mention coming into play abilities. Now, it's very rare that you have a basic Pokemon, or any Pokemon, with 60 HP or lower, which has a coming into play ability. But the Rattata from Evolutions does. Just discards all the tools attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. And who knows what we'll get in the future. And this allows you to be able to do that, whereas something like Bridget wouldn't. Or maybe you go into the expanded format, you go and search yourself out free unknowns, and then use that to draw free cards. Why would you ever do that? Because it thins your deck while drawing cards, and that's really, really fun. I don't think there's any denying that this is a phenomenal card. And yeah, maybe it just gives too much of a boost to Zoroark, which is now going to remain the best deck for next format. Or maybe it gives a balanced option so that some decks, like evolution decks, get the benefit of this, whereas your big basic decks, like Buzzwole, have to wait in line. Either way, I don't think there's any argument this is a 5 WotC card. This is an over-the-top phenomenal 5 WotC card. And I know I did do a video about it when it was just a rumour, but I needed to do a video when it was official, when we collected our thoughts. And now when people search around my channel, they don't just go, ooh, was that ever confirmed? Now they can find this video instead. But you know the deal, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to hear from you guys. Let me know what you think about this card. Let me know how happy you are or otherwise. Go nuts, but do remember the rule. Be nice. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all of that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves. Until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.